Hey guys, James Serby. Wanted to go over probably one of my favorite core exercises today, the reverse crunch. Before we get into the reverse crunch though, what I would like to do is kind of give you the rationale behind why we're going to do it. So with the way our culture is set up, people sit a lot. It's the way you do it at work, it's the way things happen at school. Unfortunately, the more we sit, the tighter our hips get, right? That makes sense. The more I'm going to sit in a flex position, the tighter my anterior hip structure is going to get. Think things like your iliopsoas, think things like rectus femoris, okay? Over time, as those get tighter, what they're going to do is they're going to anteriorly tilt our pelvis. Easiest way to think about that is if you kind of put your hands on your hips right here and come out, that's for the most part your pelvis, right? Your hips pull down on the front part here. So the tighter these get, they're going to tend to pull that pelvis down, and then we have anterior pelvic tilt. What that does is it leaves us in like a really overly lordotic position or a really rounded low back. Okay, this is bad for a multitude of reasons, but more than anything, one, it puts a lot of pressure in that low back, it makes you very susceptible to injury there. Two, it's just going to rob you of performance. When you have this, you're not really going to be able to use your glutes well, and you're going to have to pull double duty on your hamstrings, right? So having that tight anterior hip carries over to a host of other issues. That's one reason I really like the reverse crunch. What it's going to do is it's going to strengthen our core in the appropriate fashion to really kind of control that pelvis positioning, which is going to allow us to try and keep things a little more neutral. So as this gets tighter, right, one, we need to stretch it, but two, if we can get this core stronger, not doing crunches and just teaching our rib cage to pull down, if we can actually get our core stronger to control our pelvis, that's going to help control that lumbar, and we can kind of reset our hips back this way and keep that neutral position. So this is the way it's going to work, right? All you need is, you can use a kettlebell, you can use anything you can really anchor yourself with when you lay down on your back. So, quick demo of how this works. You're going to hold on overhead to something here, get your feet up, so you're about like 90 degrees here, 90 degrees here, and all we're trying to do is teach our core to posteriorly tilt our pelvis backwards. Okay, so all it is you're going to get nice and tight, make sure that low back is pinned flat in the ground, and we're just going to curl our pelvis back this way and then unravel ourselves back out. All right, it looks simple, but there are a couple places where people mess up. All right, the first one I see is people just bring their knees to their chest. As you can see, I'm not really getting any movement out of my hips, which is the whole point of this exercise. Problem two I see is people may be able to get this part, but as they go back out, they just kind of crash to the ground, they lose their back, and I can slide my hand under this space here. Again, that's just reinforcing something we're trying to get rid of in the first place. So you want to make sure you're tight, keep that low back pinned on the ground, just curl your hips back and up, your hips will actually come off the ground, and then think about unraveling yourself one vertebrae at a time, so when you come back to this position, your low back's still pinned on the ground. Again, this is something I really like for people that have that overly lordotic posture. It really works very well. Start off something like 3 sets of 10, then you can ramp that up and build in, and you kind of build off of that a little more as you get going. Have some fun with it, hope it helps.